Most companies rely on customer reviews or feedback to set themselves apart from the competition. But as a business owner, how willing are you to turn the mirror on yourself? Eric Bryan heads the #1 air conditioning company in Arizona, and you say attack yourself. What do you mean by that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, everybody would say that, most owners would tell you that they do a lot of soul searching, or they do a lot of, constructive criticism with themselves. And I really probably would say that it needs to be done more. Attacking yourself to me is constantly looking for a way to get better. One of the routines that I use in my everyday life is I use my drive home. Every evening that I drive home from the office home, one of the rituals that I have is asking myself what I did today, what could I have done different? Would I have gotten a different outcome if I'd handled it this way? And constantly turning the mirror on myself to figure out where I can get better and where I can grow. It's very easy to point out people's inconsistencies and inaccuracies and things like that. But if you're willing to do that to yourself, honestly, honestly willing to really critique yourself and get better, you'll naturally get better with that.
Right. I agree with you, because I always say, subdue my ego.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you have to.
Right. And allow me to break through and for the best outcome.
Sure.
How important is it to leave that ego at the door?
Well, here's where I would take that a step further, right? First of all, you can't truly evaluate yourself if ego plays any part of the picture. You just can't. Your ego is naturally going to give you some inaccurate information, right? That's what egos do, right? Mm-hmm. But I tell you what most owners don't do. It's something that I try to do on a regular basis, is literally ask my management team or the people that I work with, do you think I could have done something different? Do you think I could have done something better or handled that different? Especially anytime the situation gives me an opportunity to ask that. Now, clearly I don't parade around the office asking people, do you think I could have done this or that better? But in any given circumstance where that opportunity arises, whether I'm sitting down talking with a manager one-on-one or just an employee, how could we have done something better? Could we have how could the company have done it better? That's true growth. And realistically, 90% of the feedback that comes to a business owner to give him the proper direction in steering his company the right way, it's got to come from your employees, because they're the ones out there doing the job. They're the ones mixing with the customers. They're the ones dealing with people, right? It's not. I stay in my office all day long, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm limited to some of the feedback that I need to be able to run the company effectively. So you have to give your employees a voice, and I think being humble as an owner really ties a lot of different things together. Having people follow you the right way, having people have trust in you, checking your ego at the door, right? All kind of plays part into that culture around the company that makes us so successful.
Okay, so now share some real honest techniques on how an owner can receive that constructive criticism.
Well, I guess the techniques would probably vary from person to person. You have to find what works for you, I guess. For me...
Does your military play into that?
Well, yeah, I would say so. In the military, you're going to get feedback whether you want it or not, right? So it does precondition you a little bit to be able to start to learn how to be receptive to that. It's a tool that has to grow. Not everybody's perfect at receiving constructive criticism initially. I know I wasn't, right? I felt attacked, right? I felt like somebody's, demeaning me or getting on to me. And my A-type personality, initially, I'd wanted to lash out to that. Only through a little bit of time and some maturity was I able to take that input and actually apply it. You know what I mean? Everybody has different opinions. Doesn't mean their opinion's right or wrong, maybe different than yours. But when you truly get to a point where you can understand where somebody else is coming from, right? And put your ego down so that you can actually receive the input that they're trying to give you, only then can you actually start to learn from it. And believe me, I haven't even mastered it myself yet. But it's a technique that I think more owners should be working, to get good at.
But you're working towards it. So pointing the finger, remember there's 3 fingers pointing back at you.
That's correct.